Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for more dedicated legacy action. When Orcish Bowmasters first came out on Magic Online, the first deck I built and played was this one, and we went 5-0, 10-0 with it. We absolutely smashed the league and had a wonderful time, and I haven't played it or even thought about it since, so I figured it was time, like about 3 months later, to have a look at the deck and see if we want to play it again and see how it feels. So, this deck is a combo deck but also has some reasonable mid-rangey plans too. So the combo side of the deck is obviously a whole boatload of fast mana. And we power out something like an Orcish Bowmasters or a Sheoldred the Apocalypse. And then we find ourselves an Echo of Eons and draw 7 and go again. And drain our opponent for a bunch of life. Ping them, make some massive guys. Just an incredibly unassailable board position. We have Entombs to help us find our Echo of Eons as well. And that's kind of the main game plan. But we also are an Urza Saga deck. So we can just play Urza Saga and make some big guys and beat our opponent down. And that's pretty good. It's good enough for Mono Black Saga Storm. We're doing a very similar thing here too. But also, the fact that Orcish Bowmasters and Sheoldred are just good cards anyway. They kind of add to the beatdown plan as well as being combo pieces. We can also go real big and do Peer into the Abyss. And if we have a Bowmasters or a Sheoldred the Apocalypse in play, then our opponent's going to have a real bad time. Other than that, we've got some tutors. So we've got 4 Wishclaw Talisman, 4 Burning Wish. So we've got a little Burning Wish package. So we've got another Tendrils. Oh, sorry, this is our only Tendrils, isn't it? We don't have a Tendrils in the main. We just have one in the board. So we can Burning Wish for this and Tendrils our opponent out. We have Appearance of the Abyss. Again, if we want to do some drawing ourselves or on our opponent, that's good. Having one in the board is really nice because it turns our Lines Eye Diamonds into like proper rituals that we can actually use to cast this by cracking in response after we've played the Wish. Got Feed the Swarm to blow up some problem permanents. And we've got the other Echo that we can go and find. And we have 1 by Force as well. So that's kind of our package. Then we've got, some other things on our sideboard. We've got Haywire Mite, some Leyline in the Void, a Fatal Push in case we need to kill some stuff. And we do have 4 defense grids. Last time I played, we only had 3. I felt like going up to 4, even though it was fine last time. I'd rather have a little bit more hedge against some Force of Will style decks. And honestly, that's about it for our deck, really. We got 4 Vaults of Whispers there, 1 Swamp, some Badlands, and we're not trying to fetch them out either. We're just having them in there. We can draw them sometimes. And yeah, that's pretty much the deck. We go pretty hard or we go home is the general rule of this deck. But I had an absolute blast playing it before. I even made some mistakes on the way to the undefeated. Whether or not we can replicate that, I do not know. I suspect we probably won't because the deck's a little bit vulnerable. People are more used to playing against Bowmasters and stuff now anyway. However, what we're doing is intrinsically powerful, and I believe we can smash some people up with it. If we play against non-blue decks, we'll have a great time. Alright, remember to like and subscribe to help the channel out, and let's just jam some Orcish Combowmasters. If you're looking to play Legacy on MTGO like me, why not try Card Hoarder? They're a rental service that I personally use, and I found them better than other rental services that I've used in the past. So why not give them a try? Alright, so our hand can kind of combo off on turn 2. So you can play Swamp on turn 1, then turn 2... well, no, we slightly far... We need 1 more mana to combo off on turn 2, right? I don't know, that's not true. We can go turn 1, Entomb, at end step, turn 2, Orcish Bowmasters, Lines Eye Diamond. Yeah, I'll keep this. Wooded Foothills from our opponent. Okay. That usually indicates some sort of like Cradle Control deck for the most part. Certainly on brand for this. What would I like to find here? We can just hit this down with our Orcish Bowmasters now, which is pretty solid. We can go Vault of Whispers, Mox Opal, Lines Eye Diamond, cast this Orcish Bowmasters. It's not quite Combo Masters yet, but we're getting there. Let's ping down their mana source. Next turn, we get to do the whole Echo of Eons, ping our opponents down, maybe ping away something they play this turn as well. If they have a Thoughtseize, which they tend not to have main deck these days. Alright, this is a creature that will die. The Cradle, that's a creature that will die as well. Okay, feels like we are on the way here. Have to decide if we want raw mana count or black sources. So I think step 1 is to float some mana on that. I think we probably just want raw mana here. Like if we find a Dark Ritual, we're away. So let's play this. And now we will Entomb. So Echo of Eons. Cast this Echo of Eons. And we're going to have a pretty good time here, I think. Our Orcish army is going to be very large as well this turn. We might be able to stack this up. If we can go through the loop again, we can... Alright, so we need to have one on here, one on here, one on here, one on here, and then the rest can go to our opponent's face. Alright, so now what we're doing with the rest of our turn here. We can go again here. So we can play this Chrome Mox out, imprint this Entomb. We can play out this Lion's Eye Diamond. We can... I think we probably want to get this Wishclaw Talisman down here. Get Wishclaw Talisman down. And we'll cast this. With this on the stack, we'll crack this for triple blue. We'll go and put an Echo of Eons into our graveyard. We'll cast this Echo of Eons. Ping our opponent down for a whole bunch. So this is 15. We just have lethal damage here. We don't need to keep playing anything. Do we want to keep playing things? I don't think we need to here. We can go, if something goes wrong, we can do it in the second main phase anyway. We've just got a load of damage here. They can't snuff us out. Alright, a turn 2 kill. Not too shabby. And we interacted on turn 1 as well. So, against a deck like this, we want to be able to kill their Collector Roof. So that is what this Fatal Push is for. And we'll take out Wishclaw Talisman, because we're not going to be able to tutor for this if we're under a Collector Roof. Do we really have anything else that we can use to help us here? I don't think so. This isn't really the matchup for that sort of thing. Yeah, I guess we'll rock like this. Sometimes just jamming an early Sheoldred can be enough to win some matchups, same as just playing out the Bowmasters, but we are a little bit vulnerable in terms of where our black mana is coming from against the Collector Roofs, but they're not going to be able to play a Collector Roof until turn 2. So maybe we can just turn 1 our opponent. But we do have to worry about things like Endurance, which can mess with our graveyard. But if we hold priority in the right ways, they can't they can't exile our graveyard whilst the Echo's in there, because we get priority. We immediately put it on the stack. It's no longer in there for them to do. What does our hand do? I think we can do better. I'm probably going to get Thoughtseize as well. Okay, this one seems fine-ish. One of these has got to go. We're pretty cold to some things here. I think the Wish goes. Yeah, we're going to try and get rid of the Wish here. So we have 1, 2, 3 mana here. So we can spin the wheel with mana up and try and go again. Once upon a time, let's see what they find. An Ignoble Hierarch. Is that probably coming down this turn? It is. Burning Wish. So, a Vault of Whispers. We could get snagged by a Mindbreak Trap. Would I rather have a Burning Wish in our deck or a Sheoldred the Apocalypse? I think I'd rather have black mana here, so I'm going to put the Sheoldred underneath. Play this out. Play this. And grab the Echo. Let's fire in and see what we get. Okay, we can keep going here if we want to. So we can go Dark Ritual. We can Entomb, Lion's Eye Diamond, and draw another 7. So our opponent hit us into a... Have I hit our opponent into a Mindbreak Trap? Like, we kind of want to go as much as possible because they could just play a Collector Roof next turn. So we're going to keep going until we can possibly win the game. Force of Vigor is something we have to watch out for a little bit here. So we cast this. Then we Entomb. Put this Echo away. Cast this. We don't need blue mana up. The only thing we have blue mana for is Echo anyway. What does this hand do now? We can play this. We're on to 9. Count for Storm. So we play this out. We have 4 mana, which is enough to spin the wheel again. So we go taps for black. Activate Wishclaw Talisman. We get a Lion's Eye Diamond here. I don't think there's anything else we can get here that makes any sense. Alright, then we'll cast this Lion's Eye Diamond. Cast this Entomb. Because this is going into our graveyard, it doesn't matter if we have to crack the Lion's Eye Diamond. So like something like a Force of Vigor is not going to matter here. Just need a little bit more mana here. So we want the Echo here. Let's draw some more cards. Okay, what does this do? So all 3 of our Echoes are gone. So not ideal. We'll keep this one, obviously. We'll cast this Dark Ritual. Cast this Orcish Bowmasters. Ping this down so that they're less likely to make a Collector Roof next turn. And then we still have 1 mana floating. We don't really have anything we can excitingly put with an Entomb, but we may as well get an Entomb, get like a bad draw out of our deck. And I think an Entomb is a bad draw. So let's check that. I don't know if I want to play this Lion's Eye Diamond or not. I don't think we do. Like, it could get snagged by Force of Vigor or it could get snagged by Thoughtseize. Either way is not great for us. So we did a lot that turn. We hit Storm 18, but we were a little bit shy of the mana to win the game. So now we've got to let our opponent have a go. But next turn... Alright, so there's the Force of Vigor that we were expecting. Yeah. What do they pitch? Atraxa, sure. So now, if they have a Mindbreak Trap, they can go and fetch it. But that will give us the Wishclaw Talisman, which will give us 1 more Metalcraft, which would mean our Lion's Eye Diamond is good. So they probably don't want to activate the Wishclaw Talisman until they can get a Collector Roof. Now, if they just naturally have the Collector Roof here, that's going to suck for us. A Thoughtseize. Alright, they're probably going to take the LED here. That's what I would take if I saw this hand. I'd take the Burning Wish, okay. Fatal Push. But we have no mana to cast any spells with. So not a massive fan of that. So this turn we're probably going to see the Collector Roof come down off of the Wishclaw Talisman. So now we're looking in trying to draw one of our 4 mana sources. Alright, they're just going to Zenith for the Youth instead. That's... I'm not going to say fine because it's obviously a disaster for us, but we do have the answer in hand, so there is that. That's not going to do it. So now our opponent can get something good with the Wishclaw Talisman and not have to worry about it activating necessarily. Fiend Artisan, sure. The Rainforest. Alright, can we find a swamp? Like, we can't even go even if we do find a way of killing this Collector Roof. Our hand needs a little bit more juice. Currently we don't have anything. Mox Opal is also not the one. Our opponent's probably going to win this game now. We did the thing that our deck's supposed to do, but we didn't quite get there. But we do get to be on the play for game 3, which is going to be pretty large for us. Let's see what nonsense we have to deal with it now. Alright, so they're going to be attacking for 3 this turn, possibly more. Once upon a time, what would you like to find? An Orcish Bowmasters. Pretty good against what we're doing. Right, the Collector Roof's coming in. It's going to be a 3-3 because it's Exalted, so we can't double block it. Even if we find the Swamp now, we still would then have to deal with the Orcish Bowmasters. Although being on a higher life total means we could do like some wheels, but again, wheels are going to be difficult because we've gone through all of them. Alright, deck. So we need like a Swamp this turn and then like a Burning Wish the turn after to try and do something with. Sheoldred, that's not the one, is it? That can solo out a game though. But our opponent can probably find themselves a Cradle when they're ready to just win the game with the Wishclaw Talisman. Oh wait, no they can't because of the Collector Roof. Okay, so there is that, I suppose. It's not one-sided Collector Roof, it's not like Khan. Yep, we're going to lose our Bowmasters here. What are they going to tutor up? And the Bowmasters, they get to sail into us for 3. And now we are on the same life total. If we can get this shoulder into play, maybe we can do something. I don't think we can win this one. Let's just go to game 3. Alright, do I want any changes? I don't think so. I think we just fire back in and go for it. Give us the turn 1, please. What does this hand do? It makes turn 1. It dies immediately to Force of Vigor. I'm going to mulligan this. What does this hand do? Doesn't really do a lot. Now we can Burning Wish, but for what? Right, we can do turn 1 Burning Wish, but without a Lion's Eye Diamond, that's not really going to get us anywhere. Burning Wish with 2 mana open. What does that actually achieve? Very little. I think we will mulligan. Alright, this kind of does some stuff. I will keep this. So we only need 1 and 2, so we'll chuck 1 away. Which means we'll probably also chuck away the Chrome Mox here. So we have a similar hand to the one we had last game. Notably did not get us there. Let's play this Lion's Eye Diamond. So sequenced in a way where they can't blow us out with Force of Vigor here. Right, let's do the Echo with 3 mana floating. They're going to put us into the Shadow Realm with the old Mind Rate Trap. We didn't see it in the previous game, so maybe they don't have it. We did wield them a lot of times and gave them a lot of opportunities to Mind Rate Trap. Okay, well our hand doesn't really go anywhere now, does it? We do have an Orcish Bowmasters though. But I think we're better off just playing that next turn. Alright, our wheel did not get us there. Let's just pass. We're going to save this Bowmasters to try and kill one of our opponent's creatures. And slow their roll. The fact that we actually have real lands is quite nice here. We could get punished if they have a Thoughtseize, but if they do that, then we will Bowmasters in response. I'd rather have killed their creature, but this is fine. This is what they would take if they were to hit us. They can take a Mox or a Lotus Petal. Neither of these really matter. Alright, they've gone for Lotus Petal. That obviously can turn on our Mox Opal, so that makes sense. Now we play the fair game of Urza Saga. We can kill another Mana Dork. We're not going to use this to grow our token. I think it's much better to kill a Mana Dork. And then turn after, we just start pumping out Saga constructs. We don't have Shadow Spear in our deck. But Quirion Ranger. Sure. No Hierarch. Let's cast the Bow Boys. I think we take out the Quirion Ranger here, because this actually has power. So we can just attack with these guys quite easily. Right, Saga ticks up. We'll play this. We'll play the Mox I know about, because this will pump our construct when it comes into play. We're on the fair plan. Our constructs aren't going to be massive, but they're going to do something. They could natural order next turn, using their Hierarch, go and find themselves an Atraxa. That would be pretty potent. Obviously, they've not got a hand they wanted to keep, because we did mulligan them with our thing. Alright. This looks like an Atraxa coming our way. Oh no, just Force of Vigoring. Okay. That's fine. Oh, okay, they're off it. We're just making lots of guys here. This is 2, 4, 5, 6. That puts them to 4. Alright, we got a match win. We are no longer doing... We did lose one of the games, so we're not going to have the perfect 10-0 record, but we can still get a 5-0. So let's see if we can. Let's get around 2. We're on the draw with a fair Urza Saga hand. I think that's okay. We can pivot off of it quite quickly. We do also have, once this goes against us, a Lion's Eye Diamond, we'll have plenty of mana. Esper Sentinel. Okay. Could be Hammer Time, could be Mono White Painter, could be some sort of weird Death and Taxes variant, could be Bomberman. Right, over to us. A Mox Opal. Well, we can definitely have some use out of that later. Let's jam and there's a Saga. See what spectrum of fair to unfair our opponent is on. Wasteland. Alright, that rules out Bomberman, so we might be looking at Mono White Painter here. Okay. Got an Entomb here. So we'll play this Vault of Whispers. We'll cast this. We will pay for the draw effect on here. So next turn we can do a wheel effect. Whether or not we want to, we are uncertain of right now. Another Wasteland. Okay. It's going to be a while until our Ancient Tomb gets online, I guess. Oh, sorry, our Wishclaw Talisman gets online. Or our Mox Opal. Lots of things not getting online. Alright, that does change things a little bit. What does this do for us? We can cast a Dark Ritual, put a Wishclaw Talisman into play, and then what? I guess not a lot after that. We can just wait a turn, and then we can do Dark Ritual, Wishclaw Talisman. So that give us 5 mana. So we use 3 of it, 4 of it, so we can wheel with 1 floating. And with 2 pieces towards our metal, actually only 1 piece towards our metalcraft because we'll lose the Wishclaw Talisman. But if our opponent's just pecking us with this 1/1, doesn't seem that threatening. Alright, so we are looking at hammer time here. Okay, so we can now do a wheel with 2 floating. That feels even better. And we also... Yeah, you can have your card this turn. It's going to go away in a second anyway. Let's imprint this Entomb. Let's cast this Dark Ritual. Play this Ancient Tomb. Tap this. Cast this Wishclaw Talisman. Then we tap this for red in case we have a Burning Wishline later on. We have to decide now because we're about to lose our Wishclaw Talisman. And then we will activate this Wishclaw Talisman. Go and get ourselves the Lion's Eye Diamond. Yes. Then we will play this Lion's Eye Diamond. Then we will Entomb. Go and get this Echo of Eons. Cast this Echo of Eons. So we've got 3 mana floating. There's a lot of mana. Oh, why did I cast that Dark Ritual? That was silly. We don't get to do this turn because we need another artifact. If we Entomb now, we don't get anything useful here. No, I think we have to pass. Yuck. Alright. Things not going our way right there. So now our opponent might be able to kill us because we have given them a fresh 7 and a Wishclaw Talisman, which is a lot to be working with. If they give us the talisman from this start and we're not dead, then we are probably likely to win. Sagada's Aid. Okay. Paradise Mantle. Sure. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. Doesn't feel like we're dead this turn. Colossus Hammer. Okay. We're definitely dead next turn. So we do need to find a mana source for our Echo here. A Chrome Mox. That does it, right? So we imprint this here for our blue source. Then we Entomb. Okay, yes, this does work. So we go Dark Ritual. You can have your card. Your Dark Ritual. That's Chrome Mox. We imprint this Echo. We cast an Entomb to get this Echo of Eons. Now, do we want just raw mana count here, or do we want a red source? We already have a red source available, so I think we just want the raw mana count here. So we go with this and a blue. We'll flash this back. Storm count is 5. Let's do some Dark Rituals. Storm count is 7. We can Burning Wish here for Tendrils. 7, so we can go cast this, go and get ourselves, it doesn't really matter what we get here, does it? Sure, just put Mox Opal in there. Alright, yeah, and then we'll just cast the Tendrils and kill our opponent. So we got there. It was a bit ugly, I won't lie. We got there. I would like a Fatal Push, and we probably trim... Is it a Wishclaw or is it an Entomb? Maybe it's an Entomb. But I don't think we want to... Oh, Haywire Mite's also pretty good here. Let's have that instead of a Wishclaw. And that'll probably do here. I don't know if they have Mindbreak traps. We're going to keep the by force in the board because having 4 Burning Wish means you effectively have 4 by force. What does our hand do? This hand is a by force hand, potentially. I don't think it's good enough though. What does this hand do? I think we throw back a talisman and we keep this with the ability to maybe jam our opponent. Yeah, so I figured they might be getting us there. That's why we trim the... Okay, Retrofit's Foundry, that's pretty slow. Ornithopter, okay, that's not so slow anymore. We can Chrome Mox on turn 1 if we want to. So we can go Chrome Mox, imprint Orcish Bowmasters. We can't imprint the Wishclaw here. We can Burning Wish for by force if that's what we're interested in here, which honestly I think is a pretty good play. So let's go and do that. It's a bit defensive. But next time we can go 1, 2, 3 and just blow up 3 of their permanents. And then have things like Bowmasters to clear up 1/1s. This is definitely a defensive-ish line, and we can get blown up by a wasteland. Alright, that's not a wasteland. This specifically is kind of an annoying thing for us to have to deal with. Alright, so I'm going to take the 4 from the big boy. What's our plan now? Dark Ritual, Orcish Bowmasters. So we got 4 mana here. 5, 6 mana. This is 3. That gives us 3 mana to work with. That's not really enough to do anything exciting, is it? Right, we can blow up all their opponents, but I think we're kind of priced into doing that later now. We could play Wishclaw Talisman and Orcish Bowmasters. Honestly, seems fine to me. Right, let's play the Bow Boys. Just ping our opponent here. And we pass the turn. So like we can blow up a lot of our opponent's permanents. But we kind of got this Saga that we have to deal with, so we'd like to at least be able to clean up some of those things. See if they've got a land. Not an artifact land, that makes me sad. They got better things to do than an Urza Saga? Maybe they do. Sagada's Aid, yep, that's going to be a big threat to us in the near future. Okay, so we'll get to Saga as well here. Pretty strong. Are we taking 4 here? I think we are. Right, we're going to need a good turn here. Lion's Eye Diamond. So this is 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can peer into the abyss here, right? Yes, okay, that seems like a very solid line. If you haven't ever cast Peer into the Abyss, wait, we can just target our opponent and kill them with Peer into the Abyss, right? Yes, we can. We have Bowmasters. Our opponent has no permanent, no interaction here. It's 4. This is 6, 7, 8, 9. Activate this. Peer into the Abyss. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There it is. For a very brief moment, I thought we didn't have it in our deck. Target our opponent. Like, we could target ourselves and probably win the game, but this is much more enjoyable, right? Yep. Our opponent's off it. Yeah. Another 2-0. Well, a 2-0 and a 2-1, so we're 2-0 overall. Deck's feeling good again. Let's go to round 3. Alright, we're on the play. Our hand doesn't actually do anything. Even though we have triple Lion's Eye Diamond, it doesn't take us anywhere. I think we should mulligan, as sad as that is. This hand also doesn't take us anywhere. No, we can't get the Lion's Eye Diamond here. Right, mulligan. What does this hand do? This hand makes a turn 1 Orcish Bowmasters. And then with any other mana source, we get to make a Sheoldred. And with any spin, we get to spin. So I think we keep this. So we probably bin 1 Bowmasters. So we need the Lion's Eye Diamond. Alright, we need the Ancient Tomb and the Mox. And a black card to imprint. And the Bowmasters. So we have to put back either the Lion's Eye Diamond or the Sheoldred. That is a tough sell on either of those, isn't it? Like, with any black source, we can play Sheoldred. Lion's Eye Diamond needs a lot more specific draws to be good, so I think we're going to throw back the Lion's Eye Diamond. Also, we're just going to look like a mono-black stompy deck list. So we might be able to get our opponent here. I don't think we need to play the Bowmasters out right now. We're clearly representing opposition agents. That might mess with the way our opponent plays their turn. But if our opponent's playing a green deck, we want to be able to ping one of their guys down with a Bowmasters. That's the reason I'm holding it. Not trying to get someone with a Ponder or a Brainstorm. It's far better to try and just mess them. Alright, we will go for it here, obviously. And we get to play around a daze if we have one. If they have one. But that's not why we were holding it. We were holding it so that we could kill, like, mana dorks. Alright, so we get to make a decent amount of power on turn 1. So this is going to be 3 power chipping away, as well as something that's going to jam our blue opponent up a bit. That is a black source. Let's go attacks. Alright, we're just doing the stompy thing. Let's go Dark Ritual. Let's go for Sheoldred. Right, Force of Will, pitching Ponder. Sure. I think if that resolves, then the game's probably over at that point. Card is too good. Let's see what flavour of Force of Will Ponder deck our opponent is. Rug. So we're going to see a Lightning Bolt on our Bowmasters this turn. There it is. An Entomb. Okay, that can help us out down the line. We no longer have a Bowmaster do some cool stuff alongside it though. Yeah, that's pretty annoying. So we're very much on the sort of Rug Delver spectrum by the looks of things. I don't even know if we play this Badlands out. I think we just attack here. I think our opponent's going to cast Seek the Beast. No, just nothing. Interesting. I could have cast a Murktide on that turn cycle as well and didn't. Our opponent gets to see what we have. Volcanic. And nothing still. Okay. An Urza Saga. Right, we'll go to attacks. Yeah, we do just look like a mono black stompy deck here. Yep, so now they're Seeking the Beast. What has entered the exile zone? Floater Strand and a Wasteland. That makes this Urza Saga a bit awkward. So I'm going to play this Badlands to bait out the Wasteland. Because they're going to play it. I'd rather use it on our Badlands and our Urza Saga. They can jam the Questing Druid. Yep, exactly as we predicted. So they can jam the Questing Druid here. Start going to town. I don't want to fire off the Entomb now, even though it can be more mana efficient. There's a lot of information we give our opponent as soon as we do that. Alright, so now they've got a large boy on the battlefield, or soon to be a large boy. Alright, let's jam our Saga here. Let's go attacks. Attack with the Orcish army. Could have forced an extra point of damage there, but I did click through it, annoyingly. I'm not trying to get our opponent with a Bowmaster trigger there. I basically just missed 1 point of damage, which is very annoying. Brainstorm. Can I resist such a tempting target? Daze is live here though, and they haven't had a good chance for a Daze yet. Yeah, this is always going to happen. It's still worth doing now, I think. Right, so their Questing Beast getting bigger. They probably have to leave it back on blocks. There's a Wasteland. We're going to lose our Saga. If we draw a Lion's Eye Diamond, maybe we can do something pretty fun. This feels like a Murktide. There it is. Alright, our opponent has very much turned the corner. We need to... If we do the wheel, that's going to massively pump their Murktide though. But we're probably losing this game anyway if we don't. Okay, so we don't even have the option of doing that. Alright, we're on chump block with our little guy. Take 8. Hope they don't have a Lightning Bolt. And that we draw a Lion's Eye Diamond exactly next turn. A tough one indeed. I don't really know what we're up to that much, which is nice. Right, we have to chump block here. Alright, deck. Lion's Eye Diamond or bust. We're done. But they haven't seen our deck apart from just the stuff that you'd see in a stompy deck. I think we would like some defense grids in this matchup. What are we supposed to cut in favour of these defense grids is the question. Maybe we're trimming on an Opal. And a Wishclaw. Maybe an Entomb. Sheoldred's a little bit hard to resolve, but it's kind of an essential thing we're doing, and if it gets into play, it's going to be absolute lights out. I don't really want to get rid of that one. Burning Wish, maybe we can trim on a Wish. Sure, let's try something like this. What does this hand do? Nothing really. Now this hand does the thing we want to do. So we throw back the Ancient Tomb here, I believe. Play this out, play this out. Cast a Dark Ritual. Play a Lion's Eye Diamond. That's going to surprise our opponent. Play an Orcish Bowmasters. Ping our opponent for 1. Getting to do the thing here. Let's Echo. Oh, our opponent's off it. Excellent. Yeah, I don't think they saw that one coming. I think we just roll back in with the defense grids here. This hand loses to Force of Will. I think we mulligan that. This hand seems fine enough. I don't know if we're in the market for a Burning Wish. I don't want to throw any lands. Sure, goodbye Burning Wish. We're just back on the fair plan again here. Well, our opponent's got an idea of what we're doing now. They've seen Sheoldred, Bowmasters, and Echo of Eons. So it's not exactly rocket science that we're playing with over here. Whatever land we play is susceptible to wasteland. This is the highest upside if it doesn't get wastelanded. Ponder. This can certainly find a wasteland. Alright, days. They didn't want that. So they're just in the let's answer what's in front of us rather than worrying about later things, I imagine. Which is probably the correct way here. Okay, that's not a wasteland, so we do get at least one construct token. Now they might have Meltdown in their deck, which would obviously suck. But alright, a Delver. Are we supposed to be playing our Bowmasters instead of activating this? Maybe. Or we can do... This is 3 mana. We can't do both. Are we playing... This is a real tough choice. Taking 2 life off an Ancient Tomb is not nothing. We could jam the Badlands here and just try and Bowmasters one of their guys. That does play into days potentially, which could be a real pain. But I don't think making constructs at the cost of 2 life is going to be great for us here. They didn't shuffle off their ponder, so this is going to flip. So we probably need to try and answer it. Alright. I don't like it, but I think this is the play. Like, if they've got days, they're just going to Delver us, and that's fair enough. Okay, Force of Will. Okay, so that was going to get whatever we played that turn. Obviously, if we'd have done the as a Saga line, that doesn't care about it, but... Okay. Yep, so the Delver's flipped, as we knew it would. But this means that our Sheoldred is much more likely to resolve. Let's float a mana. Let's get something off of our Saga. What is useful to us here? A Lotus Petal or a Lion's Eye Diamond. So we have 1 mana, 2 mana, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got loads of mana. I think we just get a Lion's Eye Diamond for higher upside later on. Like, we can just cast a Sheoldred without paying the Dark Ritual. They would have days last turn if they had a days. So I think we're just going to jam this Sheoldred. We do have the days that we can play around. Okay, sure. Any sort of wheel effect that we can... they're going to get borrowed here. Oh, they're dismembering it. Alright, that's pretty good still. Alright, that's also giving them Delirium. So they are very far ahead right now. They're only on 14 though, so there is a world where we can string together some stuff and just dome them with the Tendrils. But things aren't looking amazing for us over here. And Urza Saga, that's going to be too slow to do anything, but we're still going to play it out. So our opponent, if they have a burn spell, we lose. If they don't have a burn spell, we get 1 more turn. Seek the Beast. Okay, let's see what it finds. A Wasteland. Okay, that's annoying, but that still gives us our one out. Well, not a 1 outer. We've got a 7 outer, 6 outer actually. We bought out one of the Entombs. Sure, you can kill our thing. You can play your Dragon's Rage Channeler. They're not playing the Dragon's Rage Channeler, are they? Oh, they are. Okay, just do it second main. Alright. They just wastelanded in combat so that we can float. Alright, one of our cards that lets us do something. Sheoldred the Apocalypse. This does not allow us to win the game, unfortunately. So we're going to have to take our first ever loss with this deck. Unfortunate, but that was a thorough Delver they gave us right there. Just like 1 drop, flipping my Delver immediately, counterspell, having the 1 or 2 off Dismember to kill our Sheoldred. Pretty ugly for us there. Alright, let's go to round 4. Our opponent's got a 65 card deck, which I have no idea what that means. What does this hand do? This hand is turn 1 Bowmasters, turn 3 we kind of go off. Is that good enough? I think that's probably okay. I will take okay. Play this out. Play out the Chrome Mox, imprint an Entomb. And again, in case our opponent's playing a green deck, we want to hold up the Bowmasters to ping whatever they have. If our opponent can like brainstorm a response, we don't really care that much. We're not trying to catch our opponent out. We're just trying to make sure that we can slow them down if they're a green deck. This can play into days though. Right, nothing from our opponent over there. We'll still fire this in. Our opponent might brainstorm a response. They might daze. There's lots of options. Right, we're just in. They could plow this as well. We have a land, so we have options of Bowmasters, or we have options of... Like, we could Yeah, no, we're just gonna attack here. We can make a token or we can Bowmasters, depending on what we think is going to be best for us. This is probably going to be a plough, as we suggested it might be. But what land are they going to get here? Oh, a Jetman's Garden. Okay, that's not that. Okay. I'm going to carry on holding up our two different lines here. This is the Naya land, isn't it? Yes. Mountain, Forest, Plains. Lorien revealed. Sure. The opponent's hand is going to be... is looking pretty slow for what's going on here. But we'll see. Underground Sea. Okay, that gives them 5 colours for the purposes of Leyline bindings. Solitude. Right, we're probably losing our Bowmasters here. That's fine. Right, let's make a guy. Can we just make another guy here? Just go into the well. Make all the things. Get ourselves a Lion's Eye Diamond. Start bashing. If we find a mana source next turn, we can Orcish Bowmasters, Entomb, spin the wheel. But our opponent is dead on board, right? 8. No, 9. We've got 9 damage on board. But with the Bowmasters in hand, that is 2 more points of damage. A Ponder, sure. So by making this 4/4, we don't get the Bowmasters. We miss out on 2 damage there. But we have a 4 power guy and we've committed less resources to the board in case our opponent is on some kind of miracle line where they can terminus our creatures away. We lose a lot less because 2 of our creatures just popped out of our Saga. So basic plains. Have to imagine we're going to see some sort of prismatic ending or something. They can't dress us down because they haven't got any blue sources. Okay, it's just the Leyline binding. What are they going to target here? It's probably got to be one of our boys. The Lion's Eye Diamond is obviously scary because it doesn't represent fair things. But I think you have to not die to what's on board. But if they've got plows and stuff. Alright, yeah. So they are taking one of our guys. That reduces the damage by quite a margin there. They didn't shuffle off the Ponder as well, so they could have something on there. Alright, let's just go to attacks. I'm going to give up on this 1 point from the Bowmasters here, purely so I can play around Terminus slightly better. If they hadn't kept on the Ponder, I'd be more tempted to go for that extra point of damage. Up the Beanstalk. Sure, I will see if we can Bowboy them. This taps them out of... Alright, so Force of Willingness. Pitching Force of Negation, sure. So they get their Beanstalk here. But we can just throw some more Orcish Bowmasters at our opponent. Yep, we're going to lose our 3/3 here. So we're back down to smaller chunks of damage trying to kill our opponent here. Yep. If we find a land, we can maybe do some good stuff. Opponent's only got 2 cards in hand. But they're going to be drawing a lot of cards in the near future. Sheoldred the Apocalypse. What do you do? Probably not what I'm after right now. We can Burning Wish for the Echo. But I think we're better off just getting this Bowmasters going. So if we can Bowmasters and then do our thing, that's alright. So this is going to be an extra 1 point of damage and then another 2 points of damage. We can put our opponent to 3. So that fetch land is certainly not free. We have multiple lines to Echo of Eons here, if we want it. We can Entomb, or we can Burning Wish. If we find a land, we can Burning Wish Tendrils. And our opponent is in some trouble. Narset Part of Veils. That's pretty good. Stops us from drawing extra cards, but it doesn't stop them from drawing extra cards, which is weirdly the thing we want to happen. Alright, we're just going to beat them down with our guys. So some sort of grindy control deck. I think we need defense grids. They are green, so we could be looking at Collectoroof. So maybe the Fatal Push is something we're interested in. Then we can trim on a Wishclaw. They haven't seen any of our Entomb nonsense yet either, so I'm relatively up on that. Sheoldred is quite a large investment and easily killed. We can trim an Entomb here. Give ourselves a couple of defense grids. We can trim an Opal for a 3rd defense grid. And then I guess we trim a Wish for a defense grid. And then we have to decide if we want this Fatal Push. I don't think we do. I think it would be over a Sheoldred. But Sheoldred is so backbreaking in these sorts of matchup. It does die to all their white removal though. So maybe that is foolhardy. Is having the one Sheoldred good enough? Having one less Sheoldred. Yeah, I guess the one Fatal Push. They might not even have Collector Roof, but I think if they're in green, Collector Roof and Lavinia are definitely things that I wouldn't be surprised to see. Okay. This is okay. We can keep this. We've got Defense Grid, we've got Bowmasters. Hallowed Fountain. I think our opponent's playing Field of the Dead in their deck. That's what this makes me believe. Either that or they just don't have the Tundras. But online, they're not very expensive. So. Alright, are we just jamming an Orcish Bowmasters right now? I think we'll play out the Lotus Petal. And maybe try and get our opponent with a Bowmasters a little bit. And apply some pressure. Force them to tap mana on their turn. Island Cycling, yep. What island would you like, opponent? A tropical one, sure. I don't think we play this Bowmasters unless our opponent does a cantrip, because we'd rather save our jam Badlands. If our opponent tries to brainstorm end of turn, we can nix that in there. Right. Feels like our opponent is going to go for a Beanstalk line holding up Plough for when we play our Bowmasters. Right, just a Teferi Time Raveler. Okay. Jams Bowmasters. This isn't a great one to bounce, as it turns out. They can bounce the token, but then they'll lose the Teferi. And we'll get a ping. Echo isn't quite the one we're after right now, is it? Let's play Badlands. This is 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage, 4 damage. So we can really shred this guy of counters. I don't hate this, it's a plan. Let's pin this guy down. Let's go attacks. Put Teferi to 1 so they don't get to draw a card off of it. Then we can start jamming defense grids. And then it's kind of like our own Teferi effect almost. So our opponent doesn't seem to be too heavy on counterspells so far in this matchup. Well, in this particular game. Maybe they've gone for a more removal heavy and we kind of just showed them like the beatdown angle. Right, a Plough on our Bowmasters. Sure. Right, just going upstairs with that. Could see something like a Hull Breacher here. So we probably have to play the defense grid before we attack. Get some most information out. A Ponder. Okay. Right, so we do get to ping with our Bowmasters here. We will ping the Teferi. They shuffled off their Ponder, which is good news for us. An Ancient Tomb. I am okay paying 2 life for this. Alright, so now we know that we can attack this Teferi. We can attack this player and we'll just get to have our cake and eat it a bit here. Are we doing anything with this Burning Wish? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we could put Peer into the Abyss on the stack next turn. So I think we will go and get the Peer into the Abyss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so another mana source gives us Peer into the Abyss, which is lethal. Although if our opponent has enough mana to pay for defense grid, then we probably target ourselves with it. Because if they just remove our Bowmasters in response with some defense grid nonsense, then have a bad time. If we find another blue source, we can just cast this Echo. There's a Wasteland. Alright, so we're off of the Peer into the Abyss. They probably take out the Ancient Tomb, having seen us get Peer into the Abyss. It just makes it a harder thing to cast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. So if we take out any other land, a Dark Ritual, which they have to assume we're playing, will be able to cast it for us. But they will need to answer these creatures we have in play. And then we get to do some cool stuff. They can't cast an Endurance, but they might have a Hull Breacher. Yep, they're going for the Ancient Tomb, which is the correct play there. Right, they're tapping out of defense grid mana. Leyline Binding. Is this going to target our defense grid, or are they going to hit something else? This is going to telegraph what they have, I believe. Are they trying to protect their life turtle, or are they trying to stop the scary thing we're trying to assemble? They're trying to protect their life turtle. In a big way, because they're going after the Orc army as well. This is good news for us. Can we find a Lion's Eye Diamond? That would be aces. Surgically extracting our Ancient Tomb. That is certainly a play that you're allowed to make. Not one that I would make, to be honest. Obviously, we are on a brew here, so our opponent doesn't necessarily know all the ins and outs of what our deck does. But they're giving us 2 life. 2 life gone there. That's less storm count we need. Can we find it? A dark ritual. So this is 3 mana, 4, 5, 6 mana. So we can go ritual, wish, tendrils. That's 6 damage. Is that good enough? Doesn't feel good enough. I think we attack with Bowmasters here. Have no way of putting this in our graveyard. I keep nearly clicking the concede button back, so I need to make sure I don't do that. No, I think we are just on the past plan here. As sad as that is. If we can string together some more rituals or something, we might be able to do a dark ritual line into Peer into the Abyss. Which will probably have to target us at this stage. What is this? It's a fairy bouncing something. Minsk and Boo. Yep, that's a big boy. But we've got a lot of life to work with. Our life total doesn't really matter until it gets like to 1 really. Because Peer into the Abyss is all rounded up, so. But this is a very quick clock that can definitely cause us some issues. I think they're on attacks here. Yeah. I don't think you want to just sit back and block. I think you want to get the game over and done with. Especially since you're saying, I have no counter spells over there. A Chrome Mox. Does that do it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That does do it. So if we play this Chrome Mox, what are we imprinting here? I think I'd like to keep the Burning Wishes in the deck. Actually, it doesn't matter. We're just going to Peer into the Abyss our opponent and they're going to die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sure. Wait, have I miscounted? 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so we Peer into the Abyss them and then we ping them for a whole bunch. Alright. Excellent. Yeah, big fan of that. We are 3-1 going to final round, so positive record locked in. And we beat a Force of Will deck. Nice. Let's go to the final round. This is a turn 1 wheel with 1 mana floating. I think that's keepable. A Mox Opal, you say? Let's play this Chrome Mox out. Let's imprint Peer into the Abyss. Let's play out a Mox Opal. Play out a Lion's Eye Diamond. Now we could try and bait with a Burning Wish here. See if they got any counter magic. But if they do have counter magic, what does that do for us? I think you're more likely to counter. Are you more likely to counter an Entomb or a Burning Wish? That's an interesting. I think you're more likely to counter a Burning Wish here. We'll get the Echo here. We'll play this out. We will imprint. I think it's the... is it the Entomb on the shoulder? I think it's the Entomb here. Although the Entomb lets us go again if this doesn't work, but if it doesn't work, then it's not going to work at all, right? So it probably is the Entomb here. Right, so you can play around days. Got Force of Will over their opponent. Feels like they might do. Or it might be a brainstorm into finding a Force of Will. Now we can pay around a daze. They might just want a daze to offset our mana. A Spell Pierce. Alright. It's not the one for us, is it? Okay. Our opponent is looking alrighty over there. We kind of want the fairer side of our deck for... Although Spell Pierce is an unusual one. Like, you sometimes see Spell Pierce in, like, the really tempo-y ones. Tempo rug decks. But, yeah, we are behind, and we are looking for some action. Action like Wishclaw Talisman. Got another Spell Pierce here. They could be on, like, a really old-school rug build if they got multiple pierces here. Spell Snare. Alright, our opponent's permission has lined up pretty well. We played around days. We tried to bait out the Force of Will, and we got hit by Spell Snare, so not feeling confident with how this one's going to work out. Alright, now they get to put a big clock into play. This is a 4-turn clock. but probably a 3-turn clock. They're going to have a lightning bolt. I will play a land. I will pass a turn. Big wallop to the face. A nice Urza Saga that's too slow to matter. That's exciting. Although we take 6, it goes to 2. We take another 6, it goes to 3. Okay, no, we are just dead. On our, if our opponent's got another lightning bolt, that's still not lethal. But we're not going to get our Urza Saga to pop. Gonna be a tough one. Chain lightning. Yes, I will chain lightning you back, opponent. Boom. Get you. Is that going to be relevant? Probably not. But we did it. Alright, what are we looking for here? A Lotus Petal. Probably not that. Alright, that was a very quick bodying there. We just got proper Delvered out there. So, defense grid's in. And then go down on Entomb, Wishclaw, Sheoldred, Mox. And I think we'll just call it with that. Actually, no. We want the Sheoldred in. And we'll take a Burning Wish out. Because Sheoldred, if we just get a Sheoldred into play early, that can beat what our opponent does if they're on just full-on rug. And if they're holding out to counterspell like an Echo or something, and we just dump a Sheoldred in their face, a lot of their counterspells like Spell Pierce and Force of Negation won't work on it. So, we've got a plan. Boy howdy does this hand go off. Alright. Do we just Force of Will check our opponent on turn 1? I'm okay to do that, I think. Cast that ritual. And counterspell on this one, opponent. Play Bowmasters. Ping our opponent. They're doing some pretty long pauses. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. Let's play Entomb. Let's get the Echo. Our hand doesn't do very much anyway, so Echo. They got the counterspell here. So basically, we lost our 2 Ancient Tombs, which could come back to bite us, but we did at least have a basic in play and some guys that are going to interact with our opponent's deck in a favourable fashion. Now we're just going to see a lightning bolt here. No, a Delver of Secrets. Okay. Okay, we found an Ancient Tomb. We're going to attack with our Orc Army token. I do not believe they will trade their Delver of Secrets off. We're going to get a flip here. No flip. Okay. Is that Wasteland then? Tropical Island. Null Rod. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Like, we kind of tried to do our thing already, so that ship has sailed. Urza Saga, though. That's a very good answer to Null Rod. Because we just ignore it and make some big boys. I am dreading seeing a Wasteland on our opponent's side of the battlefield. What's this Delver going to do? Flipped Revealing Ponder. There's a Wasteland as well. Yuck, they don't have to ponder for it. Goodbye, Urza Saga. Oh, they're taking out the Ancient Tomb. That's interesting. Like, we do need that to activate the Urza Saga, and we do have a lot of artifact mana. I think that might be a little bit greedy, but we should have cast a defense grid before attacking. I don't think they're going to have any flash threats in their deck. Alright, we've got defense grid in. They could play a little Murktide here if they wanted to. Going to bash for a bit. Holding open 3 mana. What are we getting here? It's probably just a Lion's Eye Diamond. It's not going to do anything anyway. Let's cast another defense grid. Bash for 2, so we put our opponent to 11. So we've got a 6-turn clock. Our opponent's got a 5-turn clock. So we are behind on the race. And we don't have any mana. And our opponent's got 4 cards in hand. And we're drawing blank. I think we may be done with this league. Yep, in comes the Delver. Ooh, if we can draw another land, this might end up mattering. Just a classic game of turning guys sideways and not doing anything. Land, 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 land. Ah, you're not. You look like a land, but you're not. You're a liar. You're a 0 that doesn't do anything for us. So our opponent cracks their fetch. Okay, they're not going to crack their fetch. A Wishclaw Talisman doesn't do it. He attacks here. Put our opponent to 3, and then they kill us with a Delver. Yep. Just a Delver in. So we finished 3-2 with the deck this time, and both of our losses were to Delver. So if I was to play, if you would tell me you could play any deck against this monstrosity we're playing now, the deck I would always choose would be a Delver deck. Because those decks have pressure, so that you have a limited window to go off combo-wise. They have the ability to find the cards they're looking for really well. Their selection is impeccable. They don't need the card advantage of like some of the bigger controller decks, because they've got a threat in play. So they're just going to be beating you down. They don't need to find like a constant stream of cards. They just need to find enough to stop you and then finish you off, which is what happened in all of our games against Delver, basically. So I'm not surprised we lost to Delver, but I'm pretty happy we beat the control deck. It didn't even feel particularly difficult to beat control either. So that's kind of interesting. But let's talk about the deck. So when I played this deck the first time around, we're playing Wishclaw Talisman. At the time, Beseech the Mirror had not been printed. It was not legal on Magic Online. So if I was to play this deck again, I would probably consider making it a Beseech the Mirror deck. Instead of having these Wishclaw Talismans, which feel pretty bad, for 1 extra mana we can get the spell and cast it. So if I were to make some changes, I'd probably go -4 Wishclaw Talisman. Let's just move these over here. So we can go -4 Wishclaw Talisman. We can possibly trim on some Sheoldreds here. So we can get... so we have 4 Beseech the Mirror, 1 Gaia's Will, and we want 1 Thoughtseize. Is 1 Thoughtseize worth playing? That is an interesting question. Maybe 1 Cabal Ritual, just for another hit of mana, something like that. That's probably how I would change this list going forward. It's not like we're a Galvanic Relay deck, so we're not going to be doing Galvanic Relay things to try and jam our opponent up, right? We're not going to be able to... Like, we might... Like, if we... I guess we could cut 2 Sheoldred here. Or, yes, we could cut this and leave ourselves with just 1 Sheoldred so we can Beseech the Mirror for it, maybe. And then we could have 3... So you have 1 Gaia's Will, 2 Galvanic Relays. But is 2 Galvanic Relays a good number to have? You normally want 3 and 1 in the board. And if we want 1 in the board, we have to cut something else. Just not really convinced. But we definitely can cut at least 1 Sheoldred for a Gaia's Will. And play Beseech the Mirror. I think that's probably going to end up a lot better for where we want to be here. We are predominantly an Echo of Eons deck. So like the Beseech the Mirror, what is that actually going to cast for us is the question. Like, it will cast a copy of Sheoldred. It will cast a copy of Gaia's Will, which will often be game over as well. So that's worth it on its own. It can go and get a Bowmaster if that's going to be relevant. It can also get a Burning Wish. A lot of the other, it can go and find a Lion's Eye Diamond for 1 more mana than Wishclaw, activate, go and get something. So for only 1 more mana, that is kind of going to be better. Because it's just going to get you the Lion's Eye Diamond, but also have all this other utility. So, obviously, there is a little bit of negative synergy with Echo of Eons and the Gaia's Will lines. But I think like the Echo of Eons is kind of essential to what our deck's doing. So I think there's definitely an immediate upgrade we can play on this deck with the Beseech the Mirrors. And at some point, I'll probably try and record a league with the updated version. Whether or not we cut more Sheoldreds for more mana, I don't know. It did feel like we needed a little bit more mana in one of those games. So maybe we could do that and have access to like a Cabal Ritual. Although obviously Cabal Ritual doesn't work well with Echo of Eons, but it's pretty good with Gaia's Will, I suppose, because you want to fill your graveyard up. So there's definitely some push and pull. I guess we could always put like another explosive tutor target in. So like Song of Creation is what a lot of the Epic Storm players are playing now. So we could run that because if you play a 0, you're drawing a whole bunch of cards and you're going to have a pretty solid time. And we can just about cast a Song of Creation. You know, we've got Badlands and we've got a bunch of artifact mana. So like Petals and Moxes can sometimes cast it. But that's probably what I'd think about doing there and trying something along those lines. Sideboard wise, yeah, it seems fine. How much you need certain of these things, I don't know. Maybe we need more Fatal Pushes to try and slow down Delver matchups a little bit. But is that the way you really want to go? Can you afford to board in more than 4 cards? Not convinced. Do we want a single Thoughtseize that we can Burning Wish for? Because that's quite a good line that you see a lot of Epic Storm players running. Do we need 4 Leylines? We could swap our Graveyard Hate for something else and free up a slot. So I have like 3 surgical or something and free up a slot here. So there's a little bit of wiggle room of how you can perfect this deck, but we're what, 8-2 with the list so far, and that was intentionally playing the same list now, even though I don't think that this list was optimal, like I said, because of the Wishclaw Talismans. So pretty good. Although if we are losing the Wishclaw Talismans, that does impact our ability to do Chrome Moxes. But if we've got like Song of Creation or whatever it's called and Beseech the Mirror, just playing a Chrome Mox as a 0 is also pretty reasonable. So yeah, I think this deck can definitely be improved, and it's inherently powerful what we're doing, and the fact that we won games just by being a beatdown deck with like Bowmasters and Saga and Sheoldred type stuff shows that this deck's got a lot of different angles that it can attack from, which is quite nice too. Alright, I don't think I have anything else to say about this one. I hope you enjoyed revisiting something that was really good first time round and was still pretty good this time around. Like, we only lost to the Rug Delver matchup, right? So nothing to be embarrassed about. That deck is great, and I do love Delver, to be honest. I'm sorry if I'm one of those people, but I do. I think the decisions you get to make and the power of the deck is very strong, but it's also a joy to play. Alright, we are done for today, so remember to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and doesn't cost you anything. And if you're interested in my Patreon, I've got a Patreon where you can just give me a little bit of money, just say thanks, or you can give me a bit more money and have access to a bunch of articles I write, including my TurboDecks Primer that gets updated every month. And you can become a member of the YouTube channel, you can do donation decks, whatever. However you want to engage the channel, we can sort it out, just get in touch. But most importantly, just keep watching and keep playing Legacy, because it's the best thing you can do with Magic the Gathering. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.